The 4th May mandate was a decisive election, but the stability it was meant to deliver never materialized. Instead, the result triggered a series of immediate internal fractures across the state. A definitive mandate is designed to settle political disputes and provide a clear baseline for governance. Here, the mandate was used as a catalyst. Unknown actors weaponized the finality of the result to provoke systemic social collapse. This attack manifested as a sudden, massive surge of synthetic media. These fabricated videos targeted the new leadership, successfully breaking the public's ability to agree on what had occurred. These events show that modern defense now requires securing the cognitive process itself, the specific way a population distinguishes a fact from a fabrication. Traditional IT security models are insufficient here. A firewall cannot patch a psychological vulnerability. We must apply a dual-lens framework. The first lens is cybersecurity, which maps data trails, device signatures, and deepfake forensics. The second lens is political sociology. Data points only gain meaning when viewed through the lens of power dynamics, institutional distrust, and public sentiment manipulation. The intersection of these two fields creates the socio-technical battlefield. A network breach is rarely the end goal. It is simply the delivery mechanism for a sociological payload designed to exploit human behavior. The opening attack utilized a targeted deepfake. The synthetic video was engineered to frame the central leader, Didi, in a way that appeared to validate pre-existing public grievances. Cybersecurity forensics traced the media to a specific, high-security device signature, identified as a BR Delta relay. The sociological lens revealed the operator, a familial relative inside the leader's inner circle. This insider used their pre-existing clearance to bypass digital defenses. Because they were already trusted by the system, they could deploy synthetic media without triggering security alerts. By aligning the fabricated video with real political friction points, the attacker ensured the public would perceive the synthetic trigger as credible evidence. This demonstrates that systemic collapse is most effectively triggered from within. Pre-existing trust acts as a vehicle for the deployment of cyberweapons. The sabotage soon moved to physical infrastructure. Attackers spoofed military communication channels to misdirect supply convoys in the northeast logistics grid. The method was a replay attack. The attacker intercepted real data and replaced it with a looping feed, blinding command to the truck's true location. This created direct conflict for soldiers on the ground. They received spoofed orders, digitally authenticated but logically impossible. The result was cognitive friction. Because soldiers were trained to trust the system absolutely, the mismatch between orders and the reality in front of them paralyzed their decision-making. Arjun broke the paralysis by ignoring the technical feed entirely. He instructed soldiers to manually verify authentication codes against an offline source, forcing them to trust physical verification over a spoofed signal. Secure infrastructure is useless if human operators are conditioned to obey a system that has been compromised at the level of authority. The antagonists analyzed these first two events. They realized that while individual deepfakes and spoofed orders could be neutralized, the process of debunking them created a permanent delay in the state's response. To exploit this, they moved to Phase 4. They abandoned the attempt to sell a single, believable lie and focused instead on overwhelming the public's capacity to verify anything at all. This strategy weaponizes the emotional engagement curve. By keeping the population in constant fear and anger, baseline trust eventually falls to zero. This was supported by cross-border data spikes. Rather than one lie, thousands of low-intensity doubt injections scattered across the network simultaneously. This creates a state of stabilized confusion. In this environment, the public isn't convinced of a new truth. They are simply exhausted by the effort of trying to find the old one. The attack succeeds when the very concept of objective truth becomes culturally irrelevant to the population. Most counter-disinformation efforts rely on authoritative debunking, but in a low-trust environment, this approach fails. When an official source labels a video as fake, a skeptical public often perceives it as a state cover-up, which inadvertently reinforces the original lie. Arjun changed the objective. Instead of issuing state-vetted corrections, he developed a system that gave the public the tools to perform the forensic work themselves. This system, the Open Truth Grid, utilized data provenance logs and an edit history visualizer to make the lifecycle of digital media transparent. By making the raw data accessible, the state decentralized the verification process. any citizen could independently track where a video originated and exactly how it had been altered. This transparency systematically removes the attacker's ability to monopolize public doubt. When the data is open, the suspicion of a cover-up has nowhere to take root. The antagonist attempted to break the system by releasing a sophisticated deepfake of Arjun himself, apparently admitting to manipulating the public. Arjun refused to issue a formal denial or a state-sponsored debunking of the video. Instead, he uploaded the raw file directly into the Open Truth Grid and invited the public to examine the metadata. The public verification rate rose exponentially. Independent users began flagging mismatched timestamps and identifying the specific source files used to generate the fake. The public dissected the attack in real time. By providing the tools for verification, the state turned the deepfake into a demonstration of the population's own collective resilience. Systemic trust cannot be enforced by a central authority. The only defense against synthetic reality is a citizenry equipped to independently verify information. In the modern era, the true integrity of a nation depends entirely on the skepticism of its people.